high-end and easy home decor hacks. I'm Jamie, the crafty DIY guy. Welcome back to my channel. All right, you guys, and for this first video, we are going to take one of these Dollar Tree garden bowls, and we're going to take these wooden balls, and we are going to create a very high-end looking bowl, a decorative bowl that I was actually inspired by that I saw at my dermatologist's office. So the first thing we're going to do is put those balls in a bowl so they don't kind of roll around, and we are going to remove this pesky sticker. I don't know about you guys, but stickers and things like this are not fun to remove. That's probably my least favorite thing. I'm going to take my Dollar Tree sanding sponge here, and I'm going to just go over my bowl with it. I'm going to do the outside, I'm going to do the inside, and it's really just to kind of help rough the surface up just a little bit, but also to kind of get some of that gloss off of there. Now, of course, after I do that, I am going to go ahead and just wipe it down with a slightly damp cloth. This is just to ensure that all that dust is gone. Now we are going to take our caulking. This is Dollar Tree's caulking. This is bathroom caulk, and we are just going to squeeze it out. This is really hard to squeeze out, by the way. I don't know if mine was old, but it seemed like it was not coming out of the tube as easily as I would like it to. Now, once I did get a good kind of gook on the bowl, I started on the bottom side here. I took a paintbrush and we're just kind of spreading it around. There's no rhyme or reason here. You're not trying to be nice and smooth. You're not trying to, like, decorate a cake here. You are literally just wanting this to have lots and lots of texture. And I found that if I kind of twisted the tube a little bit, it did create a decent amount of caulk that did come out of there. And then again, just kind of taking that brush and spreading it around, blending it around. Don't worry if you have full coverage of the bowl. That doesn't really matter with this. It is just the idea of getting as much texture as you can. And you also want to make sure that you are getting it on the ends or the edges of the bowl there, because if you're thinking about like a stone bowl that you might be making, you are going to have some rougher edges. And with this is just kind of a fun and easy technique. You don't have to be perfect with it. You can go up, down, left, right. You can do zigzags. You can do circles. You can do a combination of it. It really, really doesn't matter, because once this is painted, you're going to see it create such a cool texture. Now, I did end up doing a couple different passes of this caulking on each side of this bowl. And this was the kind of the bottom side of the bowl. And then after that dried, I did go in and do the inside of the bowl. Now, this probably took, I would say, about 12 hours to dry on the one side. It was still a little tacky when I did flip it over to kind of do this inside of the bowl, but it didn't really matter that much because, again, I was just going for this texture. So just kind of keep that in mind if you are trying to do this. You will want to let this kind of sit and dry for at least 24 hours once it's all done. Now, just kind of go in and finesse. I went ahead and after my layers were dry, I did add a couple additional layers to it. Now, I've got these wooden balls, and these are different from the ones that I went with originally. The original ones were kind of large, and I liked that these had this flatter end, and they were going to be perfect for sticking to the bottom of the bowl. Now, I have this stone paint from Krylon that has texture in it, and that's going to be perfect for this. But before I take this outside and spray paint this, I do want to kind of glue those balls into place. Now, go ahead and add a decent amount of hot glue on here, because remember, you are kind of gluing this down on top of that texture that you've created. So you do want this to stick. And I just kind of went with the clock concept of putting one at 12 o'clock, one at 6 o'clock, one at 3 o'clock, one at 9 o'clock. You could certainly add more of those if you wanted to, totally up to you. I took my bowl outside and kind of propped it up under a couple of empty spray paint cans, and then I just went through with my layers, and you can kind of see how the stone surface is kind of acting here. Now, as the layers dry, you can go in and kind of get some of the detail areas, but when this is done, this is amazing. I love the way this looks. It looks like something you would find at like Pottery Barn or a home decor store, and it is super, super expensive looking, and I think I paid about $5 in total for this project. Now for this next project, I'm going to use these wood rings that I picked up at Crafter Square Dollar Tree. I found these super large rings that are about 2.5 inches round, and then I found these other ones that were slightly smaller. Now the larger ones only come with a 2-pack, so we are going to take 6 rings in total, and we are going to simply just glue these together. We're going to stack these on top of each other. We're going to create some really, really cool looking succulent planters. Now I'm taking my hot glue and kind of again doing that clock format, the 12, the 6, the 3, the 9, and just adding some dots of glue. You don't need a lot of glue for this project. And then as I am working my way up, I'm just making sure that they are as even as possible, kind of rolling them on their side before that glue does start to set up. So once I've got all 6 of my rings kind of set up, you are going to, again, just kind of make sure that you've got everything stacked and as even as possible. Then we're going to start with our lower set of rings. Now, it did come with, I think, 6 rings, but I'm going to go with, I think I went with 5 on this one just to make it slightly shorter than the other one. That way I've got kind of a cool set. I've got one that's a little bit larger and taller. I've got one that's a little bit smaller and not quite as tall. Same kind of concept with the glue, a couple dots of glue, making sure that it's as even as possible and as round as possible. And again, I'm using just a little bit of hot glue. I'm actually using the wood glue from Shore Bonder, so this is really, really easy to do. Now, like a bonehead, I did not film the spray paint, but I used that same exact stone spray paint. And then I added some faux succulents. I love the way this looks. I think they look very high-end, very chic, and they were so easy to make. This next DIY came from the Target dollar spot. This was left over from Halloween. It was kind of like this crystal ball, and this hand kind of reminded me of those vintage chairs you can see from like the 50s or 60s. I took mine outside and I spray painted it orange. I love this color of orange. I love the vibrance, and I love the way this turned out. Now, you could keep it like this. You could put a candle on it, but how cool is this to put a fun plant on it? It creates such a fun little plant holder. I love the way this turned out, and it gives me really, really cool, like mid-century chic modern vibes. I love it so much, and it was so, so simple. Now, this next DIY is inspired by a project that I did make quite a while ago, and I'm kind of revamping it for my channel. I'm taking a glass candle holder, a glass cylinder vase, and these alcohol pearls. Now, if you've ever played around with alcohol ink, alcohol pearls is kind of the same thing. It's just got an iridescent kind of pearl-esque kind of sheen to it. So once again, removing the sticker, just using my heat gun, it actually did come off pretty easily once you just kind of heated it up and just removed it super easy. Now for this one, I do want this to be a little bit more of a permanent hold, so I am going to use some super glue. I am just taking some super glue and I'm adding it to just about the entire kind of bottom or the top, I guess, of that candle holder. And then in the 2 kind of spots that I didn't add any super glue, I am going to add a couple dots of hot glue. That's just going to help kind of secure it immediately onto the bottom of the vase. And it does really hold super, super quickly, which is fantastic. Of course, anytime you're working with glue, you always want it to dry. So it's going to look kind of like this. And then I'm going to take a plastic plate. I've got a paint can here because I am going to elevate this up off of the surface because I don't want any of that alcohol ink to kind of puddle on the bottom. And the idea here is that we're going to drip the different colors of the alcohol ink down the sides of the vase, creating a very cool kind of iridescent drip effect that's going to be amazing when you put light into this. So go ahead and literally have fun with this. Take your alcohol ink, dab it, jiggle it, shake it, splatter it, do whatever you want with it. This dries really, really quickly. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, you can use any kind of a wet, damp like sponge brush to kind of help blend this a little bit more if you wanted to. Again, there is no wrong way to do this. You are just creating drips and globs and color. I have I think it's a kind of a copper color, a blue color, and then a silvery color. And as you can see, it's creating a very cool effect. Now, I added a very simple tea light into this. I love the way this looks. Look at this. It looks like fire. I love the way this looks with a very simple battery operated tea light from Dollar Tree. This is what it looks like in the light, super, super colorful. Again, one of my favorites. Now for this last DIY, I had these two pieces that were left over from the previous DIYs, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to create something very simple and very fun with this. I took some Dollar Tree rocks. I'm going to add it into my crystal ball there. And we are going to also add some reindeer moss into this. And we're going to create a very cool, just kind of modern looking planter that I can recycle and use for something else. Now, I did not like that succulent, so I added this one. How adorable is this? I am in love with this. I absolutely love the way this turned out. This is probably one of my favorite DIYs. All right, you guys, let me know in the comments below which projects were your favorite. I definitely have some tops in this video. I really love the kind of orange hand. I love what I was able to do with the crystal kind of ball thing that originally went with the hand. And then I think one of my favorites is that last minute project I pulled together with that crystal ball and that succulent and the rocks and everything. How cool is that? If you are a subscriber of mine, thank you so much for being here. I truly, truly appreciate you. And of course, if you're brand new to the channel, hopefully you will stick around, become a subscriber, and we'll do some more fun projects together soon. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.